Hello everyone, this is part 2 of a continuing series on the KitzConcept Battlepod figures. You can see episode 1 on the standard Battlepod by clicking the card now. That video will tackle elements about articulation, the features, the lights, all that good stuff. But in this video, we are specifically looking at the light artillery version and sticking only to the elements that make it different from the first release. Buying one of these can be a challenge. In person, the packaging is only differentiated from the other releases by a small sticker that says Artillery Battlepod with a picture of the toy. Online, the easiest way to find it is on KitzConcept's website as a 2-pack with the heavy artillery toy, which will be part 3 in this series. That 2-pack is currently the cheapest way to get the set, with the discounted price working out to about $130 for each Battlepod. The contents inside differ from the standard release in that you do not get the normal head lasers. Instead, you receive the artillery parts. The packaging is not as premium as Macross collectors probably have grown accustomed to, with the tray for the artillery parts actually being stapled to the toys tray. With the staples removed, you then pry the parts out of the form-fitted plastic insert. Curiously, there are no instructions for the artillery parts, but we're going to take care of that right now. The light artillery parts consist of 3 sections. You have this centerpiece, which is what attaches to the Battlepod. There is a hinge on the inside, and we're going to talk about that hinge a little bit more. There's some sort of a sensor at the top that is a green metallic paint. Looks sharp enough. You'll notice there's a couple little teeth at the ends of these posts. And that is going to be received by the missile pod, which has a couple openings that are a little bit larger in the right area. So I can just plug this right into place. And you can see here is the missile detail, the red head sticking out from within. It looks good enough. It's kind of a metallic red. Then we have these clear, translucent, pokey bits that go off the side, which seem like they're hinting at light up effects. And to get to where you need to install the battery, you're going to grab the back of the missile pod and you're going to shake it back out. Now, while we're looking at it from above, there is some paint applications here, some markings. Those do go on the top, and you'll have this paint marking on the bottom. Now that we've gotten this rear section out, you can see you can remove 2 screws, and that's where you'll install your LR626 batteries. I've got the little 3-pack installed like I had used before. We will show that lighting effect in greater ability later in this review, but there is the switch, and here it is going back inside the missile pod. If I could do this properly here. And so you can see that that is not easily accessible once everything is put together. So we'll put this one on here as well. And then we do have a nice clicky range of movement. So those are going to stay exactly how you put them when they're on the toy. And let's go ahead and do that now. Again, this version of the Battlepod does not include the standard lasers. You had to get the standard Battlepod to get those. This attaches, the light artillery attaches via these 2 posts going into the slots just like the regular parts would. There's also this battery compartment with the switch. Again, this underlying Battlepod is the same. Please watch that original review. It's a great toy. But we're going to go ahead and peg these parts in, and they're going to do a good job of staying where they're at. Maybe it could be a little bit stiffer. I was initially unhappy with the sloppiness of this particular hinge. You could see there's gaps in there. It's not tight. It wants to fall backward. But if you look at the line art, that hinge is all the way in the forward position. In fact, I could make an argument that this shouldn't even be a hinged part. It should just always be all the way forward. So I'll give KitzConcept a little bit of a pass. Speaking of the line art, here it is again, and you can see that Battlepod, fantastic, just like I said in that original review. The light artillery parts may be a little bit bulkier than they should be, but I'm giving KitzConcept some bonus points here because they have copied all of the detail work in the painted on applications to this toy, and it looks fantastic. And it's not just those stripes on the light artillery parts themselves, but also the unique writing on the toy in various areas. Very well done, and makes it a different toy from the standard release. It's not just that you get the light artillery parts, you get the markings that signify either a different squadron. I don't know what they signify. Maybe that it's a light artillery pod, but probably more likely that it's from a different squadron. But either way, really cool that they took this line art and then went the extra mile. Now, one of my concerns whenever I introduce an accessory to a toy is that it is going to make it less enjoyable to handle. And the original Battlepod has a lot of heft up top on some thinner legs, but it has ratchets and a lot of joints that help you overcome these things, but it can be a little bit of a balancing act. So what's gonna happen when we introduce another 115 grams to the top of the toy? Well, it does become a little tougher of a balancing act. Now that said, it still has all the right joints to make it okay. I've got it in a pose right now that looks perfectly natural and it's handling it just well. If I did lean this toy back enough, it's obviously gravity's gonna take over and it will fall backwards. So that is something to be aware of. You are increasing the height of the center of gravity, which could lead to some play issues. The other big concern with an accessory is that it's gonna make some of the gimmicks of the underlying toy problematic. And here you can see I've got the Battlepod completely opened up. We could take our pilot figure, he could jump inside, but the light artillery pods have flipped over towards the back. And this is again where I think KitzConcept could have just left them as a permanently up point at that hinge, and it would have been a little less problematic. Here I've kind of got them situated like you need them. So you can definitely get it into the open cockpit display with the light artillery on it. It just becomes a little bit more difficult to handle. Here we have the light up effects on the light artillery pod. Some pulsing, the LEDs behind some baffles, so they're not nearly as bright as they might be on some of the other lighting effects that we saw in that first Battlepod review. And spoiler alert, here is the heavy artillery, and you could see just blinding in comparison. So again, the light artillery is your darkest light up effect. Still pretty cool, kind of bleeding through a little bit where maybe you don't want it to, but I don't know, I appreciate it. I just wish those switches were easier to get to. When I reviewed the original release, I said it was a fantastic toy and highly recommended it, and that still holds true. This version isn't as iconic as the standard model, but it's still great and deserves a place in your display stand. The only pushback I've received from my original review is from people who felt the size and scale were off, and I have a theory about that. I think the creators of Macross originally wanted the Zentradi to be the same size as a VF1, with similar variability to how humans range from 5 to 7 feet. We see it with Rick's first Zentradi encounter. We see it when Max wears the Zentradi uniform. And that might be why this looks small to you. When the movie version of Macross came out, my theory is that the mentality shifted to wanting better parity between the mecha that would be fighting on screen. So all Zentradi mecha were sized down and the pilots with them, and this became Macross canon. Now, I'm going to be talking about the size of the pilot figures on a future episode, but for now, if you want a good TV scale to fit your display case, the High Metal R line ought to be really close. Got a comment? I read them all. Was this helpful? Give me a like. If you like 80s shows or mecha toys, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.